Did you finish that?
Well, I was going to say that the show, no, but I'm ready to go full spoilers. I did. It's not that it's anything, but I had a hell of a week. Like we had zero temperature, like literally it was a high of zero for a couple of times while I was working it and a bunch of snow. Then my furnace went out and stuff. So basically I just had a lot of shit on my mind that, instead of focusing on an audiobook, I was trying to focus on getting my furnace fixed and keep it warm and trying not to literally shiver to death while I was out working in the shed. So
I got you.
Yeah. I mean, I probably could have pulled through. I'm really making excuses, but hey, you know me, I don't care about spoilers. And you actually might tell me something that goes, ooh, I've got to see how that happened, so it might motivate me to get back in or, quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, where's my record button? Okay. Greg says he'll be on in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Hey, come on, bitch.
Record on this computer. I got my book here and everything. I'm ready.
Nice. Ready. Good. I'm glad. I want you to be. I knew I was going to be the odd man out, and are we going to, because I'm fine either way, and I'm not going to be the typical Nathan you think I am, but are we going to bring up the Gina stuff or not? That's totally
have it on
call.
Here to bring up.
Okay. Well, because
first thing's out of the water.
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't know if you wanted to even go, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I've had some, hopefully I've got a good enough constructed, kind of seeing both sides. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm hope I don't come off as like, the normal. I've tried to put some real thought into it and look at both sides and hearing, and I've also heard her stuff that she's been slowly leaking out since then. And she's doing a big interview today with I don't know if I want to necessarily give the guy, but like, because like he's an extreme conservative right wing, like I don't like extremes either way, but you know what I mean. So not to get out of politics, but yeah, she's doing that interview with the Daily Wire thing today, and I don't know, but yeah, that's fine. If you want to bring it up, totally fine with that, because I've got some things to say, and hopefully I don't come off like a complete jack off, because I really don't think I am. If I can convey my point and articulate it enough, I think people will understand what I'm saying. But you know me, sometimes I get a little caught up in my own self and get a little flustered, and it just flies out.
I know. That's why I edited you on the Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah. But that point still stands too. I don't know. I'm gonna bring it. If we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna put it all out there. I'm just gonna get it out one last time, and then I'm fine either way. You know what I mean? If she comes back, she comes back. If she doesn't, she doesn't. The character of Cara Dune's not going anywhere. She'll live on in novels and comics and so forth and so on. Who knows? In 5-10 years, who's to say that they don't work something out and she comes back? Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these people saying recast like as Lucy Lawless. Like, first of all, I would want to know what the hell happened in context of how Cara Dune aged like fucking 30 years. If it was Lucy Lawless, like what? Not Lawless. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like what the hell? Because I watched her as Xena and I watched her as Spartacus, and she has aged very well, but she hasn't aged that well. You can see her age. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're live right now going, so people are hearing us?
Yes.
Oh, well, hey guys, you're hearing my thoughts before we even get into it.
I was doing the typical things.
That's fine.
Here's what I need Star Wars to do. I need some High Republic gifts for the life of me. We've got all these nice videos about the characters and everything. Please turn them into gifts, or someone turn them into gifts, because I don't have that skill. But that would make my day. Point.
I forgot. They did do a lot of basically motion comic stuff for it. A lot of that stuff, you could make gifts of that. You're right.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Greg will join us shortly, but I wrote a script and everything. I need you to be proud of me.
I am proud of you. Okay, I'm always proud of you. Okay, anything you do, I'm always proud.
Thanks.
Oh, and by the way, a great episode with Scott from DC Squadcast on Slice of Film covering Blade Runner: The Final Cut. And I like you, I like that movie, but I found myself just sitting there listening to Scott learning things, being like, I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it was a great episode though.
And I tried to tell him, because he felt bad after the fact about I didn't talk a lot, but I was like, I was enraptured.
Yes,
I was like,
exactly. Like that's what I like to hear. Is like I didn't want to put pause or nothing. Like I was just like you. I'm like, oh, I didn't know, and I didn't know. Like I thought it was a great episode, but at the same time, I was like you. I was just listening. Like I felt like I was in school, at my desk, just listening to the teacher or something because it was he did a good job.
Yeah. I was like, you're gonna have to come back for a not so thematic movie so we can actually have it back and forth.
Right.
All right. And 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for any and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, as always, Katie Richler, and with me, as he always is, Nathan. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's warming up out of my neck of the woods. It's going to be a high of 40 today, which means it feels like it's 110 because we've been dealing with zero temperatures. The snow is melting. I got my furnace working again Friday because in the middle of literally 0 degree and 1 degree temperatures, my furnace shot shits while I was working outside and stuff. So it's been a rough week, but things have evened out, and I am ready to talk about the galaxy far, far away.
Let's do it. We got a lot to talk about today, actually.
Yes,
this week has had lots of news, so
some good things, some bad.
Yes, but we're going to try and hit those bad things first in the episode on a high note. Greg from DC Alliance and Superhero Discussions will be joining us here shortly. But before we get into the news and topics of today, we do have to hit the podcast paperwork, of course. So Nathan, take it away.
We are members of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, where there are 10 shows, 7 days a week, 10 different shows. You have World's Finest True Believers on Mondays, DC Alliance on Tuesdays, Marvel Alliance on Wednesdays. Thursdays is usually a triple threat. Star Wars Alliance goes every other week, and Slow to Slice of Film goes every other week. Those two usually alternate, but also dropping in there every other week is Ranger Alliance. Friday is Superhero Discussions, plus Friday night Super Civil Servants goes live on YouTube, so you can join the discussion. That audio podcast drops on Saturday morning, and then Saturday and Sunday we have Weird Comics Science Roundup, Marvel and DC with Jim, who does a good job covering the latest and greatest and the issues of comics to come. And I think that's all for the shows, but we also have a Patreon account, which $1 is basically just like a tip jar. It just, thank you, helps keep the blasters charged. And then there's a $5 tier that gets you exclusive episodes, ad-free episodes, early access to episodes. I think I want to say like 10 pieces of content that are exclusive to Patreon right now. Plus you get early, like I said, ad-free stuff. We are working on more stuff. It would take suggestions if you want to hear something on Patreon, for something that we don't normally, if you want us to have a One Tree Hill discussion or something silly, you know what I mean? If there's really just something you want to hear on Patreon, something, anything, just let us know. And
Sarah and I did Bridgerton.
Yes, that's what I heard. And that's out of the pocket. That's what I'm saying. That's not usually in our pocket, but that's good. And I want to listen to that. And the last thing is we are an ad-supported network. Well, two things. We're an ad-supported network. It helps us keep the lights on around here. We do not get to pick the ads or how many times they play in a row or what plays. We don't get to pick if it's 30 seconds at the beginning or if sometimes it's 2.5 minutes out of nowhere. We don't get to pick that. So sorry, and bear with us. And one last thing is if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcatcher, if you give us a 5-star review or, whatever, written review, it just helps push the algorithm. If you're on YouTube watching, give the thumbs up. Share the episodes, all that stuff. I don't know all the fancy lingo talk, but I do know all that stuff helps push us out there to other people, and we would greatly appreciate it. Yep. And I think that's everything.
Yep, that's about it. So let's go ahead and drop into the big ticket item of the news today, I would say. Yes. So right after our last episode dropped, it was revealed, shortly after, Gina Carano was fired from The Mandalorian. So I'm like, okay,
was
keep the drama out and get it done. Do I?
I said, was she fired? Because technically they were working on the Book of Boba Fett. No, I know, I agree. Yes, she was fired.
Oh, wait, here comes Greg.
Oh. Good. I would like to hear Greg's thoughts on this too. Good morning, sir.
Hello, Gregory.
Good morning. Sorry, I've never done podcasts in the morning since I've changed my office around, not realizing the sun beats directly in on me. Is
kind of like it. You look good in stripes. You know what I'm saying? You look good in stripes. So when you go to prison, I think you're going to look just great if you ever end up going.
No, Greg, we were just about to get into Gina Carano.
Yeah, we're getting ready to drop in on the Carano news.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Katie, go ahead. Continue. Where are you?
So I'm like, okay, great. Just get rid of the drama. She's a mess. She needs a PR team for the life of her. Like,
I would agree.
So,
well, with the PR thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, okay, everybody here knows me. I'm going to try to articulate this the best way, because believe it or not, I don't just see it on the mob mentality side, and I don't just see it on Gina's side. I would like to think I've got a balance in between. So let me try to explain this. Now, Gina Carano, the straw that broke the back. Let's talk about just that single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I understand the analogy she was going for. Do I think she could have used something different to get her to make her same point, something other than the Holocaust? Yes, I absolutely do. Do I think she was making light of the Holocaust or the victims of the Jews and all that? No. The analogy she was trying to make was how the media, meaning government, meaning the stuff they put out there, they were leading them down a thing. Her thing was kids were her picture was kids beating Jews running down the street, beating a woman, and they were calling it, just like it was something fun. Because during the time, the Nazis, and they didn't get into that regime and that power, and they didn't just willingly go and get and kill millions without having the public's help. And they did that by smear campaigns through the media and targeting them, making them seem like they were less than human. Now, she was using that analogy to put it into her political, that you're the right way. Completely idiotic. Like that, you could have used something better to get your point. Like I said, I get the point she was making. Using the Holocaust of the Jews, you don't know. That's what, and I understand that's why. Was she making fun of her or making light? No, she was making an analogy and a comparison. Could she have used something way, way better to convey the point and probably get it across better? Abso-freaking-lutely. That is. The tweet or the thing by itself is not enough, in my opinion, to sever ties and get her fired. Now, like I said, I think this was the straw that broke the camel's back, because she has been very vocal and been very, going at it. And it all stems back to, God, what do we go? 3 months ago, Pedro Pascal, like some of the fans were like, hey, put your pronouns at the end of with your name or whatever. Cool. He went right out there, did that. And then they went to Gina Carano. Hey, for trans this and that. She didn't do it. And then the mob started attacking her. Oh, you must be a trans woman. You must be this. You must be an ist. You must be that. She took it. Then you must be this. Finally, as I said before, Gina Carano is not a celebrity. She's not a politician. How did she get famous? She is a fucking fighter. Mm-hmm. What happens when you back a fighter into a corner? They come out fucking swinging. And she took it. And then she went on, I'm not going to do that. Then the lynch mob came for her, and we had the first fire Gina Carano thing. And then they were on her ass, scrutinizing everything. If she walked out, if she jaywalked, they were on her ass and you know what I'm saying? So and then she doubled down, which, hey, whatever. But Katie, I would completely agree with you. If she would have just had a PR person or just plain left social media, none of this happened. You can have your beliefs. You can have your political leanings, whatever you want to call it. You can have all that stuff. That's totally fine. We all know, without trying to get too political or whatever, we know Lucasfilm, very liberal, very left at this moment. That is their thing. They if you're going against that, because if we're going to talk about things that are on the same vein, they publicly back the lady who does the High Republic YouTube show, who says nothing but disparaging things to say about white men in particular. Everything is race related with her. It's white, this, white, that, whatever. Ireland comes out, white people are this, white people need to learn this, white people, white. All she sees is fucking skin color, which that's ridiculous. They publicly back her, everything's fine. Pedro Pascal puts out an analogy saying if you're a Trump supporter, you're a Nazi and you are for the South. Nothing happens with him because they all lean left, and that's fine. But she comes out at the other end. So it's it all comes down to she has different political beliefs than the power that's in charge. And Disney as a company reserves the right to fire anybody for whatever reason they want. For whatever reason they want. That is their company. They have a standards and practice. They never used to until, because I remember in 2017, when The Last Jedi was coming out, Rian Johnson fucking just shitting on fans. You live in basements. You're an old fat white guy that's bald. You know, if you didn't like my movie, you're gatekeeping bullshit. People were demanding that Lucasfilm get some kind of morality clause in their people's contracts and shit. Kept going. Chuck Wendig was out there just fucking saying some of the nastiest, worst shit. And then when he got fired, that to me signaled Lucasfilm finally said, okay, we're going to have some kind of morality clause in there, which means when Gina signed on, she probably did have something in there. Like I said, Disney as a company reserves the right to let anybody go at any time for whatever they want, especially with a morality contract. Just like Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie got in trouble for calling Scarlett Johansson a whore when they were just joking around on the backstage thing, you know, like, oh, who's the sluttiest Avenger or whatever. And they were like, Black Widow, because, you know, real life, Scarlett Johansson has cheated on both of her husbands and this, whatever. So, but they got in trouble for saying that, which means it was in their morality contract. Long story short, Gina should have a PR person. She should have never been on social media because it's a fucking cesspool. You can have your beliefs, you can have your things, but you don't have to hit send on it. And Lucasfilm as a company can do whatever they want. And right now, the people in charge, without getting too political, they lean left, they lean liberal. They're going to be in, and I'm going to say it. If you're an African American, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You will not get in any trouble with that company. You can literally say what you want. They won't say anything because they're at this moment in time. They're just nope. They're holding on to that. And Gina fucked up. She's on the wrong, and that's fine. She's gone. Is Cara Dune gone? No. She will be in novels. She will be in comics. In 10 years, who knows? Gina and Lucasfilm could have a reckoning. They could come to a thing. People can change. People can grow. She is allowed to in the next 5 years. She could change completely all her beliefs, leanings, everything, just as I can, as Greg can, as Katie can, as you, the listener, can. She could come back. Do I think they're going to recast her as Lucy Law or whatever because she's completely political leaning the other way? Well, I would want to know how the character aged 30 years in context, but that's neither here nor there. Well, I'm just saying
that's one of the things is they've come out and said they're not recasting her. So
okay. And like I said, so with long story short, she does have the freedom of speech. She can say what she wants. I do understand the analogy she made that she was trying to convey or make. While I agree, Holocaust is a completely wrong way to go about doing it because that is still a touchy subject with people. Lucasfilm reserves the right to hire whoever they want. That's the long story short of it. Basically, what really sucks is us, the fan, get hurt because Gina Carano's Cara Dune is a great, strong, fucking cool character, and we all love her. So really, us, the fan, are the ones that lose.
Sarah's in
and
the
I hope.
Say hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. And I hope people understand what I'm saying with that, and they don't just hear. Like I don't know. Trying to walk down the middle of it because I do see both sides, but I really do. I'm not coming after her with pitchforks and shit like everybody else is. I'm not coming after Lucasfilm with pitchforks, but I am going to call out their hypocrisy and their hypocriteness, hypocrisy. Because like I said, if you have any other pigmentation in your skin other than Caucasian, you basically can say whatever you want right now. Lucasfilm's going to back you because they're scared to say anything else. And that might seem a little extreme to say or whatever, and that's fine. But that's how I feel, and that's how the optics look to me. You might see it a different way. That is me, my opinion. I can have my opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. I just hope you understand it.
Yeah. And one thing that I've always said here is that I don't care what you say, bullying is not okay.
No.
Mob mentality, not okay.
Never.
That's not okay around here. And so we can all disagree and be okay with it. We can voice our opinions here and
sure.
Say it. So, Greg, what do you think?
What you got?
For the most part, with what Nathan was saying right there, I'm in agreement with him about a lot of things. Gina's got to realize that we do have freedom of speech in this country, but that does not give you freedom of consequences for what you say. Absolutely. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that, you can say whatever you want to say. That doesn't mean you're not going to get in trouble for what you say. Like that freedom of speech doesn't protect you it protects the police from arresting you for what you say. That's about all the freedom of speech does. It doesn't protect you from getting fired from your job or people coming after you for what you say. And you got to realize that. And the PR a PR person for her. Everything she was saying on Twitter when you're getting that famous is probably a better idea to at least look over what you're going to say before you do it. Don't necessarily have to take over your account. But I mean, I agree with Nathan in the manner of this happens all the time to all kinds of other people and nothing is done. I mean, we had a former president who could have really used a PR guy on his Twitter account, but nobody, he wasn't held accountable for anything that he said with that. And like you said, the Pedro Pascal tweet, I'm sitting here looking at it right now because I remember, Nathan, you sent it to me. It's losers in 1865 and it's got the Confederate flag, losers in 1945, the Nazi flag, then losers in 2020. And it's got a Trump hat. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter, but at the same time, just because you agree with what he said there doesn't make it right. It's still just as offensive.
Well, his analogy
just as much,
Right. Well, his analogy is literally comparing to if you supported Trump or if you voted for Trump, then you're a Nazi. That is exactly what he said. There's no fucking reading between the lines. He's not making an analogy. He straight up called an entire fucking sect, however many millions of people, Nazis. Because now the extreme zealots on both sides, like extreme leftists, extreme right, I fucking hate extremes on both sides. But what about those people in the middle that just kind of vote? You know what I'm saying? Like you called that, like he literally blanket statement people. And what is racism defined as? Persecuting or hating a persons, or group of people for what? But I'm sorry, I don't have it directly in front of me. But basically, when you blanket statement and you lump everybody into one thing, that's fucking racist. You know what I'm saying? So
stereotype.
Like I said, the stereotype of the history, the hypocrisy is glaring at Lucasfilm. Mm-hmm. But I understand because they've already started to bend the knee to the mob mentality. If they start to stand back up now, it's too late. You've already bent and you keep going down. They've already been on their knee with the mob mentality. And you don't, it's the goddamn truth. And even the mob mentality the other way, because I know Mr. Johnson came out recently and was like, oh yeah, I'm still working on my Star Wars trilogy. No, you're not. So the mob mentality worked the other way too. When The Last Jedi, you know what I'm saying? Like, changes were made, but either way, they've already bent to the mob. Whatever the mob says, they don't give a fuck. They're going to bend to them. If the majority says one thing, they're going to go. And they're in a hard position. This is a hard position. And like I said,
it's a money grab. It's whatever's going to make them the most money.
Yeah,
is what it is.
That's true. That's
it's the same thing like what happened to Kaepernick with NFL football with he getting let go. The mob mentality right there said, I don't want anyone kneeling for the national anthem. And so that's what happened to Colin right there is that, and that might land me in some hot water. And it's the same comparison.
It's the same kind of idea. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah.
Even my company, for what I do, my own, if I were to have a Facebook or Twitter or whatever personal, my own shit, and if they were to come on there and technically see, and this goes for would you hire into a job nowadays? They have people, when they're doing background checks on you, they have people who specifically search and scour your social media. And if you're saying something, even though it's your personal presence, you still represent a company. So that company reserves the right to release your employment at any time. And like I said, Gina, unfortunately, do I think it's hypocritical? Yes, but they still reserve that right. They can let you go at any time for anything you say. It's their company. And if they don't want something working like that, you know what I mean? That they can do that. That's totally fine. I don't have to like it. We don't have to like it, but it's totally their company. They can do what they want. Just like if I start my own company and I've got Greg and Katie working for me and I got, Greg out there popping off on something that's making my stuff look bad. Hey, Greg, yeah, your work performance is great here at work. You do a great job, but you're bringing me all this extra heat outside. I'm going to have to let you go. Yep. You know what I mean? So like I said, I do get it. I think it sucks. Yeah, it really sucks for the fans most of all. So like I said, I hope I didn't come off too hard one way or the other. I try to walk the middle there because I really do see both sides.
Yeah, I feel like you were pretty good there.
Yep. So like we said a little bit earlier, they're not going to be recasting Kara for the show. They might bring her back and she might appear in the original novel. We still don't know what that's really going to be about. Apparently they were intending to put her in Rangers of the New Republic is the rumored show, or her own show. But then when the transphobic, or you get what I'm saying, like when the pronoun issue came up, they kind of walked that back, and then they gave her an apology to put out. and she said, no, I'm going to do it my own way. And then they kicked her out of the publicity for Mandalorian season 2. So that's kind of a little bit of background right there, as to how we got to this point.
Well, and if we're going to be playing it like that, Disney's been looking for a reason. They took her out of the PR stuff. Remember 2 months ago or a month and a half ago when we covered the story of they literally airbrushed her character out and put another character on the poster? They've literally been just looking. They're waiting for anything to get her out. And now, whether that's right or wrong, it kind of seems like headhunting, or definitely like you got it out for somebody. Like I don't think that's right either. But they've been looking for months for a reason to let her out.
Yep.
And just for the sakes of shits and giggles to put it out there, Carl Weathers, motherfucking American fucking treasure, Carl Weathers went back and found a 30-second clip from The Mandalorian from 2019. Tags him, tags Gina Carano, tags Pedro Pascal, and as they watch the first little 30-second trailer, they kind of tease you into it or go or whatever it is, but like it's them talking, and they're talking about how excited they are. Carl Weathers puts The Mandalorian, hashtag The Mandalorian, be peace. Guess what? The mob motherfuckers come after him. Oh, she's a trans. She says she hates trans people and transphobic. Literally, she never said that. Literally, unless you have a recording of her that I don't know, you can't find any written text to say that. She tells people not to wear a mask and this and that. Literally, there's never been a fucking direct quote for her to say, don't wear a mask. You can interpret it. She might have liked stuff, this and that, but people
posted
are
a lot of
text
memes
their own
about
bullshit.
it.
She posted memes are one thing. I post memes about but I'm just saying, now they're coming after Carl Weathers, trying to drag him down and try to attack him. Get the fuck out of here. Why? Because he met this young lady, and if you watch the roundtables, they had a connection, and they really did have a good time. And Gina Carano still says her and Pedro are still good friends. Like those three from the season 1, they had a great chemistry and a great working thing. But now you're going to come after Carl Weathers because he's saying be peace, as in basically let's all fucking get along. But you want to try to drag this man down? Like what? That's the problem with the mob mentality, is all they're looking for is their next target, period. They don't give a fuck, because in their little social media little world there, that's all they have is we're the righteous ones to take down. Because when they get out of that and they go into the real world, they know the fucking real world's not like that. You don't walk outside your door and it's race and trans war and holding women. Like when I go outside right now, I got people. I don't hear about any of this shit that I hear about on social media. None of it. Maybe it's because I'm not in a huge giant city or whatever, but I work in a lot of, you know what I'm saying? I go around, I deal with 1,700 different accounts, between 1,500, basically between 5 days, 1,500 different homes, including people. So it's somewhere in that area. I don't see this shit anywhere except for the internet. Anywhere. So, you know what I mean? And like I said, that's the problem with the mob mentality. They're only looking for their next target. And poor Carl Weathers is literally just trying to say, hey, let's all fucking get along. Let's be peace. You know what I mean? And now they're going to try to drag this man down. Get the fuck out of here and get over yourselves. Sometimes the mob mentality works. Sometimes, mob mentality, unfortunately, it does work. Coming together to have something happen, to work for something that you want or you believe in, that's one thing. But just coming in with your pitchforks and your torches and shit because you want to burn somebody's career, you want them to have nothing, get the fuck over yourself. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sarah says that she's with Nathan. She really likes Cara Dune and wanted to see more. Travis said something, Mr. Hines,
And
but
then
he
retracted.
retracted
And then
his
redacted.
message.
I know. I'm sure he said something. I said something. He didn't like it. I'm assuming it might have been a typo.
I read it before that. It wasn't. I don't know why you deleted it. It wasn't anything. I didn't see.
Maybe it was a
anything
typo.
Yeah, maybe it
was a
been.
typo.
Yeah.
I just figured he's trying to take it some kind of like a friendly shot at me. Not,
He just asked a question. He said, "Wait, did you say because you don't see it, it doesn't happen?" Nathan, don't agree with that, but the rest makes sense.
No,
that's not what he said.
No.
Yeah.
That's not what I said. But like in the real world, it's the fucking world is not on fire when you go outside your door. Like social media would have you believe. Like literally nothing for the last year and a half. If you go on social media, they would have you believe you would open your front door and it's literally like the apocalypse world outside, and there's fucking fire pits and crumbling cities and people with pitchforks and there's hooded mobs out there. Like what? I see none of that shit. You're right, Travis. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but it is not the majority like the mob and like the internet would have you believe. It is the minority.
What he's saying, Travis, is that there's only a certain percentage of people on social media, and it's a minor percentage. So, Travis, you follow better people than so. He said my social media never told me that.
Yes, he does. Well, just look at your trends. Just look at the trends, buddy. It's always canceling somebody or this or that. Just look at the trends. It doesn't have to be in your feed. Look at the trends.
So,
but
we got a lot of book releases this week.
Okay.
So we have like Nathan, you might remember this, but like The Secrets of the Jedi, like the book and it's narrated by Luke Skywalker.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Sounds like Star Wars adult book, Secrets of the Jedi.
Yeah. So they're doing an opposite one. So they're doing The Secrets of the Sith, and it's narrated by Palpatine.
That does sound dirtier. Really? So he's gonna read it himself. Be damned. Ian McDerry?
No, excellent. It's not like narrated, but it's like told from the perspective of Palpatine.
I gotcha.
Okay.
So let's see if I can do this right. Here's the cover.
Oh,
very nice.
I've seen that cover. I've seen. I don't know where that popped up, but I've seen this. That's
a badass
cover. Delightful. Yeah, God, that looks delightful.
Yeah. So that's the cover. That is going to be coming out, told from the perspective of Darth Sidious. It will be available August 3rd. So it's available for pre-order right now from Insight Editions.
Worth checking out.
Yeah.
It says, join Emperor Palpatine, otherwise known as Darth Sidious, in this exploration of the Sith and the evil allies of the dark side. Star Wars: The Secrets of the Sith will thrill young fans with dark side knowledge, incredible artwork, and interactive features such as pop-ups, booklets, and lift the flap inserts. It's about what
way dirtier than it should.
Lift the flap inserts. He's getting dirtier and dirtier. Like,
stop it, Greg. Stop it. I've got a question for you after. Like, this literally has nothing to do, but since we're talking about Sith, it kind of popped in my head. But after watching episode 5 again this morning, we know Anakin's the chosen one, and he's the strongest. Like he's a strong Sith. But I would argue Dooku was stronger in the dark side. He was stronger in the ways of the Sith, because Anakin, okay, so when I was watching today, for some reason, is Vader, Vader can't use Force lightning, or he doesn't. He chooses not to, or just can't. Does that because the light side of him is still holding on? The only reason why he went full on dark side is to try to save Padme, and then when she's gone, he's like, I got nothing left. I'm a robot. I'll just be with Palpatine.
I've already made the jump. Yeah,
so. You know what I mean? But Dooku didn't have to have anything taken. He just kind of got prodded. Palpatine kind of put it in there. And Dooku was a Jedi for so long. He was so strong in the Force as a Jedi. And then when he finally made the decision after the Order was doing, where he wasn't going the way he wanted and he left, when he jumped into the dark side, he did it of his own free will. There was no, I'll help you save your wife, or, I'll help your planet. It was Dooku going, all right, I'm doing this. And he jumped in and got so good. He could force lightning, and he, we saw him in the Clone Wars and shit, fight with no eyesight against, Savage and Asajj. And it's just I think Dooku, Anakin is the stronger. He is the chosen one, and he's the strongest in the light side of the Force. But I don't think he could fully commit to he committed, obviously, he killed youngling and stuff. But I think Dooku was the stronger Sith. He was more immersed in the. What do you guys think? It's just after watching it, what do you think?
I watched it last night too. Not that I needed to. I watched the movie and I was like, I don't say every line for this movie. I didn't need to watch this again, but I enjoy watching it again. I can see what you're saying there, but I'd have to disagree because Palpatine was controlling Dooku as well. If Dooku was stronger or could have done more, then he wouldn't have had Anakin kill Dooku. He would have done the opposite. He would have had Dooku kill Anakin, I feel, in that situation.
But Dooku didn't realize he was a pawn until literally right before Palpatine said to cut his head off. Look that he gives when Anakin's got the blades.
Neither did Vader until literally the second before he threw him down the shaft.
Well, but I think
so.
I don't know. I can see where you're coming from. I was just thinking that, man, I think, you know what I mean? Because Dooku, jumped in of his own free will head first. Anakin, like you said, Anakin was like, I got fucking nothing left. I might as well hang out with the only guy that's left because I killed all my friends.
There were also thoughts of Anakin before he made the jump, of him making that jump into being, darker. I want something bigger. I want more.
True.
And we know that's not what Jedi want. They don't crave adventure and excitement, but that's what Anakin wants. So there were signs of it before that. It wasn't. I think the Padme thing was what pushed him over the edge. He was teetering that thing into that line anyway. So
yeah,
I can go with you.
I don't think Vader's as angry as Dooku was about all of his attachments, like what are explored in Jedi Lost. So I think
Sereno and stuff, and his sister and all that, right?
Yeah, I think Anakin's more held over into the dark side with kind of the depression side of things, with losing Padme, and then with losing what he thought was his kids. So, Sarah says, I don't think Dooku had anything to hold him back. Anakin had attachments.
Okay, that's a great point too.
Which would be what I would say. He lingers in his depression over losing his loved ones in my book, which is why
I know that wasn't a part of the show tonight, but I just figured it popped in my head while I was watching. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ask them.
Good.
That's good.
So the next bit of news, which is something that I'm really excited about. So E.K. Johnson wrote the Ahsoka book. She's written 2 Padme books.
She's the Queen of the Shadow and stuff. Okay,
Shadow and Queen's Peril. Queen Shadow goes through her time converting into being a senator. And then Queen's Peril kind of goes over the early days of her becoming queen right before the Phantom Menace, and then goes into the handmaidens' perspectives during the Phantom Menace. We also get some cool like Darth Maul like vignettes in it, I would say. Like just small little things here and there, which are really cool. She's writing a 3rd book, which will finish out her trilogy. It's called Queen's Hope. We don't have a cover image for this, so I'm not going to share anything. But it is due out November 2nd, and it'll detail the final days of the Republic from Padme's point of view.
Oh, so before the famous line, "This is how democracy dies," with vigorous applause or whatever. She's so like, okay, that does sound interesting. Like her seeing it fall, like her knowing it's happening and not being able to do anything. That could be very interesting.
So it'll explore her marriage with Anakin Skywalker, and she will also bring back Sabe to become her double once again when she goes on a secret mission that forces her double to act in her place in the Senate.
Do you think
so? She wanted to name the book Queen's Gambit, but then there was the Netflix show Queen's Gambit, so they couldn't tie the two together. So she said a couple things about Anakin, and people have been on her kind of about like not understanding Star Wars and everything.
What did she say? Tell me.
Oh gosh, I can't. I'll pull up the article.
I need to know now, because if everybody else is gonna wreck her, I need to too. Mob mentality. What's up? I thought that's what we was all about nowadays.
Hang on, let me pull it up.
Oh, that's fine.
But for me, I think she understands Padme extremely well. So I'm excited.
She understands at least political thrillers.
Yes, I would. And I think she delves down.
Because from what I've heard, well, not granted, I have not read them. You have, and I know you really like them. But from my basic understanding of them is they're all about the political struggle, and it just happens to be set in the Star Wars universe rather than this is Star Wars with political struggles. If that makes any sense, you know what I mean? So, like,
and I think she delves into characters that were really interesting in the prequels and makes them better. So she's doing it with a better backing. I like her Padme books a lot better than I like the Ahsoka book.
See, I didn't want to say it because the first time after I did my first Clone Wars binge, for real, went through when it was still on Netflix. When I got done with it, when it was still a season, 6 episodes, I was like, I need more Clone Wars. I need, more Ahsoka, more Anakin, all that. And then the first 2 books I got was Dark Disciples and the Ahsoka book. And I made the mistake of reading Dark Disciples first. Oh man, what a fucking phenomenal book. And then I went into the Ahsoka book, and at the end of it, I was like, okay. Like it wasn't bad, but I wasn't like, oh man, because like I don't know why, but Dark Disciples, when it was over, like I was a little sad. I was like, man, I kind of want to go at it again. Like after I got done with the Ahsoka book, I was like, okay, that's something I read. All right. Like it wasn't bad, but I wasn't, it didn't blow my dress up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From what it sounds like to me, it's you said it's going to be more on the political side of them seeing this in the fall of the Republic. It sounds like it's going to almost be like the beginning of the Thrawn book, the Arenda Price
Arenda
where she's
Price,
going through her politics, where you're in a Star Wars story, so you hear stuff like comms and you talk about people using lifts and stuff like that, but it's other than that, it's just a political story you're kind of following, or you're following this character right here.
You're right.
The
first Thrawn book, Arenda and the whole Lothal thing, that was all just political machination. You know what I mean? Like just the political game, and it just happened to be with Star Wars in it. So
on Coruscant, So
right.
Yeah.
And Sarah said she needed to read these. Maybe they will improve her opinion of Padme. I think they would. I really like the way she does Padme. But learning about the handmaidens and like what they did and everything, like I'll tell y'all now, like the handmaidens weren't used in previous like queendoms like they were for Padme.
Previous rule.
Yeah, where they were like doubles and everything.
Were they kind of, from my understanding, weren't they kind of like the Dora Milaje, only they were the doubles? Like they were like a badass guard. Like she could have used them for guards, couldn't she? Like they could have right? Am I wrong? Like she could have used them for guards.
They were all trained to be guards and like use pistols and everything. But they were also picked because they looked very similar to Padme and could replace her in the blink of an eye.
Well, Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley's parents were on set when they were both in makeup and stuff. I forgot whose parent could not tell who their kid was. Like they were like, at first they couldn't tell without really, really looking, because that's how similar they looked at their younger ages with the makeup on.
Yeah. So I think the exploration into the handmaidens aspect is really neat. So I think they would be a good read for you, Sarah. Nathan, I don't know if you'd like them as much. I think they're definitely more directed for the feminine reader.
For the ladies.
Yeah.
That's right. We can have a little something for the ladies.
Details in there. So
sure.
But what she said about Anakin, I don't know who did this interview. It's a written interview on StarWars.com, and it just says the question is, right now she's married to Anakin Skywalker, of course. Can you give us any hints about what new Annie Dalla secrets and romance we have in store? And EK said, I'm going to be real with you. Anakin Skywalker is a bit of a downer for me in terms of writing because everything he touches ends badly. Qui-Gon dies, his mom dies, Padme dies. The galaxy falls apart. It does not go well for people involved in Anakin Skywalker's story when he's the main character. However, he's not the main character of Queen's Hope. He is the romantic interest. He's the love interest. And because of that, I was freed up to write him a little bit more fun, I guess. He's kind of not happy-go-lucky because Jedi don't really do that. But like his life has literally never been better than it is right now. He's really good at fighting. He really likes clear-cut, these people are good, these people are bad conflicts. And he's married to the love of his life. So, everything's coming up Anakin at this point, which does make him very interesting to write because, of course, we all know what's coming. But you get these sort of moments with them where they do have a genuine love. They like each other so much, they just never have any time, and that's their tragedy. They never have any time to talk. They never have any time to work things out. And I got to write a very, very small sliver of that time, which is something I think people have been looking forward to seeing for a while now.
So clearly she's never read anything past the movies or watched any of the Clone Wars or stuff, because if she would know that Anakin is in the thralls of falling to the dark side and being a dick because Ahsoka left and he's away from Padme and he thinks Obi-Wan's out doing, like, he's literally like, depending on where they put it, it's going to be in that time frame. Like Palpatine's got his hooks deep into him. He feels like he's being mistreated. Like Mace, I don't think she watched anything other than the movies and just went from that. or no. All right, whatever. I was just joking. I'm not going to be one of the mob mentality and jump on her ass. I just will choose not to read it, and that will be that.
There you go. Interesting choice.
So it doesn't say it's like at the beginning or right before Revenge of the Sith. Granted, we know the time between the two movies is only like 3 years, but the summary at the very beginning says EK will complete her trilogy exploring Padme's life during her early years on the Senate floor on the throne of Naboo and ultimately entangled with Anakin Skywalker, Jedi General, during a dark time in the galaxy's history. While Anakin excels at leading the clone soldiers on battlefronts across the galaxy, Padme is horrified by the repercussions left behind on war-torn planets. Although the peace-loving senator is still an active member of the Galactic Republic's lawmakers, she employs her loyal handmaiden Sabe when duty calls her to a secret mission that forces her double to serve the Senate for an extended period, witnessing the war from the political arena. And of course, Chancellor Palpatine plays his part, manipulating all sides of the conflict for his own evil plan to give rise to the Empire.
See, I like it when Padme goes off on like little like 007 missions and stuff. Like we've seen her doing the Clone Wars. She does kind of, you know, in Phantom Menace, she goes off with Qui-Gon, which is nice. Like I like Padme going and just kind of getting herself in the middle of the shit. So that all checks out. Like I said, without knowing anything else, just off that comment, it does seem like maybe she doesn't know. But then again, I'll reserve judgment until you read it. Now, if you read it, and you're like, okay, she definitely doesn't get Anakin, like he's, you know, then I'll say. But for right now, whatever. Let her have her thing.
And I think it's important to note that she does state, "Hey, I'm not intending this to be an Anakin book. He's literally just the love interest."
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's more important is that she writes Padme well. If she leaves Anakin to the wayside a little bit, and I think that's what matters in the long run. And I think a lot of people who jumped on her about the Anakin comment haven't read anything from her.
Sure.
They just have kind of seen her tweets and interviews on social media because those are easier to read. But everyone who has read stuff from her was like, oh yeah, this makes complete sense because this is how she writes people. So
she's gonna get you're gonna see where Ben Solo got the shirtless, you know, pants up to his nipples look. That's what she's gonna have written in there about Anakin. There's gonna be a shot where Padme walks in, he's got his pants up to his nipples, shirtless, standing there. It's gonna be an exact mirror image of Kylo. Still don't understand that. Pants up to his nipples. I still don't understand that, but that's neither here nor there.
Sarah says Anakin as the love interest, thinking face, takes on a new meaning as the chosen one.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
With that, let's take an ad break and come back for more news. We're not actually jumping into the main topic. We've got more news.
Sure.
All right. And 3,
we're back.
2, 1. We are back. Nathan said it first, technically, but I was in the middle of my countdown, so it doesn't count. The next topic on the list is something that is probably more up y'all's alley. Zynga has announced a new Star Wars video game, Star Wars Hunters, for Nintendo Switch.
I don't have a Switch. I'm not a Switch guy.
I have a Switch.
I do too.
It's great for the kids. Nathan, you should get a Switch for your kid. It's great. Take them with it.
I have been thinking about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't personally play the Switch. Not that I have anything against it. I have my PS4, and I'm not as big of a gamer anymore as I used to be. I rarely get a chance to get on games. Usually when I do, it's me getting my ass kicked by Travis in a sports game. I'll check it out. I'm always interested in a Star Wars game. For me, you're never going to top The Force Unleashed, and you're never going to top. I can't remember the name of the game. It was the Nintendo 64 game where you're flying the A-wing in the hall. It's episode 5. You're flying the A-wing around the AT-ATs. It was old game.
I should play that one too. I think.
What's it called? Yes, I know what you're talking
Rogue
about.
Something. I want to say
Rogue
something.
Squadron.
No, I don't think
Rogue Squadron.
It may be, but I'm not sure.
There used to be an old Rogue Squadron.
We're gonna.
Man, now I'm confused with the new stuff. I want to say it was like a Rogue. It was something Squadron. I want to say Rogue Squadron, and now the newer game that Luke has done is like Rogue Squadrons.
Maybe,
plural.
But it was on 64, and I don't think you'll ever beat those two games. You'll have some good
Yeah,
stuff.
it was Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have some good games out, but for me, it's those right there. I can go back and play Force Unleashed all the
I
time.
will give them credit that Fallen Order was fucking awesome. Now EA, they got shit on it. EA's definitely fumbled the Star Wars license, so I am glad they're branching out. And then like this Blizz, forgot the people that are doing it, but this new game is going to be like an open world concept Star Wars game. Oh hell yeah, bring it on! One of my favorite games in the world I've ever played was like Skyrim, open world, just open thing, concept. I love that open world where you can just literally pick your own adventure. Wherever you decide to go, there's an adventure and you can go through, or you can follow the main line. So if they do something even half as good as that, oh hell yes, I am super ready.
So let me tell you a little bit about it because maybe this will pique your interest a little bit more.
Okay.
It's set after. So okay, it's gonna come in 2021 at some point. Star Wars Hunters will bring players together to engage in a thrilling team-based multiplayer battles featuring a diverse array of distinctive new Star Wars characters. It's set after the fall of the Galactic Empire. Hunters will connect players in real time to battle in arena settings inspired by Star Wars locales. Play as daring bounty hunters, heroes of the rebellion, and an Imperial stormtrooper in an action game that immerses players in fast-paced and visually stunning Star Wars conflict. It will be available free to download for the Nintendo Switch on the App Store and on Google Play later this year. Star Wars Hunters does not require a Nintendo Switch online membership to download and play.
Oh, even better.
Very nice then. Very
All right.
nice.
Y'all want to watch the teaser?
Yeah,
sure.
Actually, I kind of do now that I can get it for free.
Oh,
Sure.
hang on. Okay, hang on.
That's definitely enticing. You put free on there. I'm like, hey, I wasn't thinking about it before, but if it's free, I'll check it out.
If it's free, it's for me.
Can y'all still see my screen?
I can.
Don't judge my YouTube history.
Totally judging.
So this almost looks like it's like a Marvel Alliance, Ultimate Alliance.
Kinda. It's
type game where you get 4 characters, you team up and you create and you do a battle. That's a cool concept. It seems to be the big concept right now, or like what everybody's really wanting to do.
Yeah.
Switch isn't for like super in-depth graphics or anything like that. Like their biggest thing right now is like the Animal Crossing, which is just the most basic of gaming design and look. They don't get too in-depth, so I can see that this one's done.
Pretty good.
Is it? Well, hey, I don't know. Yeah. I don't have a Switch, but I haven't seen anything.
Well, it's going to be on your phone too. So it'll be on the Apple Store and it'll be on Android phones. So
okay, cool.
Okay.
I'm sure you're not going to get nearly the type of game mobile that you are on Switch, but yeah, it's still cool to kind of see it.
I fucking hate mobile games on my phone. Literally, you're just tapping the sides of your screen. You do nothing. I can close my eyes and still win the game.
But for a lot of games, all you're doing is tapping A, B, A, B, X, Y, X, Y. You're just tapping those buttons too. So I mean,
always. You got to have some strategy and skill in some things. I hate those games too. The button masher. Where I can literally just hold up.
See, those are my type of games.
Those are my wife's type of games. Yeah.
So the next bit of news, we're actually getting a Boba Fett comic. It's called The War of the Bounty Hunters. Nice. It'll be a crossover in Marvel Comics starting this May. Sarah said regarding the games, she thinks her kid would be down with it. And she said if it's not Candy Crush on her phone, not interested.
Right. That candy's not going to crush itself, Sarah. That's right. I get it.
So this Boba Fett comic will run May through October. Perfect time for catching up with all the Boba Fett stuff before the Book of Boba Fett comes out in December. It's written by Charles Soule, and that was what I was waiting to tell Nathan because I thought that was really going to grab his attention, and he ran off.
And he walked away right before you said it, yeah.
But it's a 5-issue miniseries.
Okay. You know what? That's right up my alley of types of thing because I like reading like miniseries. I like reading like the 8-story books that I can go buy all of them at once or collect them quickly and get the whole story. I'll check it out. I just got the the new Star Wars Princess Leia run, the first trade paperback off that run. I haven't got a chance to look into it yet. I'm thinking about sitting down and doing it today. But yeah, I wouldn't mind reading some Star Wars comics. Nothing I've really ever done, Star Wars comics, but why not?
The only one I have is the one that I will fucking highly, highly recommend is the Charles Soule 2017 Vader trade I have. Holy shit, that's what an excellent run. That's the only one I've ever really read.
You missed an important piece of information, Nathan.
I know, I'm sorry.
This Boba Fett miniseries has 5 issues and is written by Charles Soule.
I check it out. His Light of the Jedi was, while good, wasn't like super duper. It didn't hook me in like his Vader run did. So who knows? Maybe I'll like his. Maybe the Boba comic will be right in that same vein. Maybe I prefer his comic writing over his novel writing. We shall see. Because I will give it a chance.
Here's your cover.
Okay, I'm in. Too. I really like that. That's what I say. I like it.
When does this come out?
This comes out in May.
Looks like I'll be making a trip.
Yes.
Nathan, I said perfect timing because it's a 5-issue series that goes through October, and it will be the perfect time to catch up before the Book of Boba Fett.
True, very true.
It says Soule came up with the concept of the crossover during a pitch for the main Star Wars Marvel title. Boba Fett clearly doesn't take Han Solo directly to Jabba's palace. Something has to happen in between that intervening time between Empire and Jedi. And I was like, I would like to tell that story, and I would like it to be about Boba Fett and what happens to him. So I can only imagine.
I can only imagine the things Boba Fett's doing to Han Solo while he's frozen that
carbonite. No, like I imagine like he's flying through space and like someone shipjacks him and there's this Han and the carbonite in the back as like these new guys take off and he's going, shit, I lost my ship and my bounty. Like I want people to be using Han as like a card table and like I want Han to be in the background every shot. You just see the front, the carbonite Han Solo in the background and
his see hands him in are up like this. It's perfect cup holders, man. Perfect cup holders.
They said the main story we're dealing with is a Boba Fett focused crime epic that involves Boba Fett going up against some of the heaviest hitters in the galaxy. It's Jabba the Hutt, it's Black Sun, it's Darth Vader, and a bunch of other factions and so on that I think will be really interesting for the fans. It's basically Boba Fett by himself against all these people. And they said the storyline will bear some resemblance to Shadows of the Empire, which some fans may remember details Boba's battle against IG-88 and other bounty hunters in the period between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. That story is a Legends book, so it's no longer canon, but I mean, they pulled stuff from Legends before, so.
It sounds like Mandalorian.
Kind of.
To be truly honest with you, is what it sounds like. It sounds like they're writing a book about basically what the Mandalorian show is about.
It sounds the lone gunslinger going. He's got his quest.
But
it does sound similar. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. Because Boba, especially after what we saw in season 2 of The Mandalorian, just like how much more badass did Boba get for you watching that? Like I loved him in Clone Wars. I loved him in the original series, and then you watch him team up with Mando and just kick the shit out of everything. And I'm going, yep. All right, I need more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Soule said, and this is the last quote, but it's Boba Fett is in possession of Han Solo at the end of Empire Strikes Back, and at the beginning of War of the Bounty Hunters, he is not. And he is going to do everything he can to get him back no matter what, no matter who is standing in his way.
Oh, wow.
So.
That makes it a little more interesting right there.
I wonder if it's like, what if it's like Kira? What if Kira's got him? Like, we don't know what happened to her after Solo, really. We don't know if she's alive, if she's dead. We know she used Terrace Kasi and she whoops ass. So maybe she's still alive and she's like, bring me Solo. And she's just out there in that flying fucking fortress ship somewhere.
Yeah.
She was in Black Sun, wasn't she? Or she was not Black Sun.
I don't know. I didn't read Black Sun. I don't know.
No, I was talking about like what faction is.
Oh, in the Black. No, she was it was Crimson Dawn.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
Crimson Dawn.
Maybe we'll see Crimson Dawn pop back up. Who knows?
I don't know. I'm just saying if you're going to connect it, or that it's a good opportunity to maybe make a brand new bounty hunter that somebody or bounty hunting faction that people go, holy shit. So who knows?
Yeah. Good point. So the last bit of news we have isn't really news, but It's Janina Gavankar, and I just butchered that. I'm
Nailed
so
it.
sorry.
Nailed it.
She plays Iden Versio in the story campaign for Battlefront
Yes.
2.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I've seen her in other things.
So she teased on Twitter asking what Inferno Squad was doing during the time of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So she's already made a sneak appearance on The Mandalorian as a puppeteer for an alien. She controlled,
cool.
I think it was episode 3 of season 2. She was controlling somebody's nostrils.
Oh, it's always been a dream of mine. Be a puppeteer, controlling nostrils.
I'd love to put that on my resume. Controlled nostrils.
So yeah, that's really about it. I didn't play Battlefront 2, but I did read the book. So
I played it. It was actually really fun.
So, and here's the whole tweet exchange. Basically, somebody asked, "So what's Iden Versio up to around the time of The Mandalorian?" Asking for a friend, and Janina tagged the 2 game developers who were key on Battlefront 2 and said, "Want to let them know." Walt Williams said, "Whether you're a Mandalorian or a Ranger, I can't think of anyone better to have in your corner than Iden Versio." And Mitch Dyer said, "During the timeline of Mandalorian, Iden Versio is a former rebel, check, ex-special forces, check, a war hero, check, married, check, friends with Shriv, check, about to be a mother, check, ready for more stories, check. For those who are curious what she might be up to, I know I am." So that's about it.
If y'all send it my way, I'll check it out.
Okay. Sure. Whatever.
So that is about it. Again, it's just kind of a tease, but I know a lot of people have said that Inferno Squad might be a good option for Rangers of the New Republic to make an appearance in.
I would prefer Cobb Vanth to be the Ranger, but that's just me. Whatever. But if they wanted to still be a female-led show, or like that's somebody else you could transfer right over, so I get it. But I would prefer Cobb Vanth just because I love Timothy Oliphant, however you say his name. But I don't know. I just loved him in Justified and all that other shit. I just want to see him out there just gunslinging and just taking people down. I just love him. I love that he's a part of the Star Wars universe now. Even when we only saw him for 1 episode, I still love it. Bring him back for more.
Yep. So the last bit before we get into the dark was something that I saw on Twitter, actually. Ryan Hill.
Greg's gonna like this.
Yeah, Greg's gonna like this.
Greg's gonna like this. Pull it up. Don't even say it. Just pull it up. Just pull it up to show Greg on the screen. Don't even say it. Yeah, okay. Don't just show it, because he's gonna go, "Oh, I want to see the facial reaction," because I know this is something Greg is getting, like myself. I was like, "Oh, yes."
Yeah, I need to find the tweet.
Yeah, you're all right. Well, damn it, I stomped this down. I should have had it ready.
It's got to have something to do with Thrawn, or
I mean, Mum is the word. The dark side, yes.
Okay.
You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. I know it's a set of books that you haven't read, but it's the premise you're going to be like, "Oh,
okay."
It's, you know what I mean? But I know you have not read this trilogy of books.
Okay.
Did you get it?
So here we go.
What do you think, Greg?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He said, okay.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
So Ryan Hill tweeted this out and said, "These are legend-specific books, but and I should probably narrate this for podcast listeners." Ryan Hill tweeted out that he would like to see a film adaptation of the Legends Darth Bane trilogy, which is Path of Destruction, Rule of Two, and Dynasty of Evil. He'd like to see those adapted into today's film world, obviously, directed by Zack Snyder and co-written by Snyder and the author of the books, Drew Karpyshyn.
Yes.
I butchered that too, Drew. I'm so sorry.
Take my money.
Please,
my
yes.
money.
Well, Greg, I know you haven't read that, but if you were looking to go for another trilogy or after you did Thrawn, now I would highly recommend the Bane trilogy because I find it excellent, and it's so far back that even though it's Legends, you could still put it in your mind as canon, and it literally will not mess anything up because it takes place so far, into the past or whatever. It's literally how the Rule of Two became.
Oh yeah,
I mean, so I'll tell you that. Like, it's. I love it. I love that trilogy.
And Bane is canon, so
Bane is, but
they
not
haven't
those
developed
books.
his story in any way.
That looks really cool. But Dathan, I can't believe you're not going nuts like I am about this. The biggest thing about that story is Zack Snyder is the Disney director. What?
That's why I wanted your thing, because I knew you'd pull it up, which that'll never happen. I don't think Disney would even chance that kind of quote heat from their fan base. So like, I don't even think they would offer it to him. You know what I mean? Just because, like, could you imagine the meltdown from the extreme Disney fans? You know what I mean? Just like, because they're just as bad as the extreme Snyder fans. You know what I mean? Could you imagine the effing meltdown? Oh my God, the world's ending, the sky's falling. It would dogs and cats living together. Now, okay, utter chaos.
But what if you did it under the Fox banner and said Disney Fox production? So it wasn't
Disney Fox Star Wars.
Semantics, but yeah, it works.
I'm with you, Katie. I'm with you, but I don't think everybody else would be with you.
I know.
I don't think it would be that big of a deal, to be honest with you.
I think people are gonna have to realize that Disney's gonna have to broach into some adult territory at some point, and they're not just going to.
Supposedly, Deadpool is going to be the real first foray into that. Deadpool 3. Yep. Because that's supposedly still linked to the MCU, and if you pull Deadpool right off, that they can walk you right into the new Blade. You don't have to dial it back. You can go right into Blade being like we can have a blood bath scene just like in the first one. You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying Disney would do that, but if we're going our way, if Deadpool is allowed to throw out F-bombs and chop heads off, and they can pull boobies out in the movie and stuff, like, people are okay. They're not going to show any nudity, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're into that, then Blade can go down that territory. You can have Ghost Rider go down that territory, Moon Knight, all that. But I want to see how truthful Mr. Feige's being, or how hard of an R Deadpool 3 is, before I'm willing to even think that Disney Star Wars would venture into an R-rated anything. So
you want to know how hard Feige's R is, huh?
Exactly. I want to see how hard the R is.
How hard that R gets, Feige.
Right.
See.
Right.
Sarah said that those books are on her list to read. She still wants to see Revan.
Yes, Sarah, yes. You're speaking my language. Yes. But I mean, I'll take this. If this is on the table, I'll take this before Revan. Like, I would love to see Zack Snyder actually direct the entire Revan story with Malik and Bashla, and like from the beginning as a Jedi to falling to the dark side to coming back again. Like, show me all of it. But if that's not on the table,
Zack Snyder directing a Mortis trilogy movie.
Everybody here knows that I am a Snyder homer. I literally own every single one of the movies he's done, even the Owl movie, which my 4-year-old loves, like his animated Owl movie. So like, I've seen all of them, and he said I'm a Snyder homer. They're surprised at nobody, but so I would give a chance to anything, because to me personally, he's yet to strike out with any of his films. That's just me personally. So I'll give him a chance. He wants to direct anything with the wars in it. I'm sure. Let's go. Beast Wars, Star Wars, World War II. War in it. Let's go. I'm in there. You know what I mean? I'm in there.
Yeah.
So I went on a book purchase binge the other day, and I purchased 17 Star Wars Legends books.
Which I had one like Katie. Shit.
Yeah.
I'd been trying to find some of these books for a long time, and I made the mistake of going into a bookstore, and I probably bought more than I should have.
And it was glorious, wasn't it?
For them.
Yes.
This is why I don't go into bookstores. I'm such a fan of an actual
bookstore. I'm a fan of such actual bookstores where they're just all there. You can physically pick them up, and they're tangible, and you can smell the paper. Love it.
I like mold mothballs. Yeah.
That's a dying breed, because kids nowadays, if they can't do it digitally, they don't give a shit about it. And I'm not kids, even adults. I don't mean it like that, but that is the trend, is leading toward digital, and unfortunately, hardcovers and books are going the way of basically everything else. They're just getting left in the dust.
Yeah, I'll take them. I know a bunch of
Me
other guys
too.
who will too. I know me
Me
and a bunch of
too.
guys find these things on discounts on shelves, like $8
Oh,
for.
guys, I've got
Yeah,
I've got
like-
bookshelves out the hoo-hoo dilly. So I got it. You know what I mean? There's comics with regular novels. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to reorganize my bookshelf, but now I have an exclusive Star Wars bookshelf.
Nice. Very nice.
So, but I did buy the other 2 books in this trilogy, but I have worn Path of Destruction to death because I loved that one.
Mhm.
But I found the other 2. So I'm starting my read over of Star Wars Legends because I wanted to go back through them anyways.
Mhm.
So I'm
Are
gonna
you
get
going
to
from the
them.
beginning, like chronologically?
Yep.
Oh, fascinating. I keep us updated on that because I'd like to know you know what I mean? Because I know you're well versed in this. I know you're more versed in Legends, but but keep us updated. I'd like to know how your journey's going through that.
You should definitely do a story time show with Katie where you read the books on YouTube. I would watch it, listen to it. You could be my audio
I think we
voice.
get copyrighted.
Yeah.
Greg.
I think we would, but that makes me like I have the audio books of the Bane trilogy, and I've been waiting. Like I want to get. I don't know. I think that's just gonna make me pull the trigger on getting them, just because I need them for my shelf. Like again,
Need them for my
I'm
show.
not illiterate and stuff, but sometimes like reading, like I like to have the audiobook first sometimes, so that way I know how to pronounce these weird names and stuff like that. And then that way when I get the hard copy, like I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is. I don't feel like quite like a dummy. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm sitting there going, trying to sound it out and stuff because I'm a half an R word sometimes when it comes to reading. So I'm definitely getting what all this boils down to is now you're gonna make me get them for my show, Katie. So thanks a lot. I'm gonna have to order all 3 of them.
You're welcome. But when I go to get to them, maybe we'll do the coverage and we'll go
Hey, I'm
episodes
definitely
on
down.
stuff.
If you decide sometime you would like to go through the Bane trilogy again, I am down. Definitely.
Well, because I'm gonna go through them. Like I'm gonna read them all in order, and so when we get to that point, maybe we'll say the 3 Star Wars Alliance episodes. And do them.
Hey, let me know when you tap that Bane vein, and I'll join in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll make a plan. I think I have 8 more books to go, so just trying to picture
every time I hear Bane, it's just burned in my fucking head from Bane from Batman and Robin, where Poison Ivy hits the thing, burn. He's just like, I don't know why that is always every time I hear that, it's the first thing that's what I hear in my head.
Sarah says that's half the fun trying to figure out pronunciations. And Sarah says she wants to join in too. So it's definitely a plan. Bane episodes coming at you.
It's fun trying to figure out pronunciations until I think I have it right. And then I get on a podcast and somebody pronounces it completely different. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Hashtag Darkseed. Hashtag Darkseed. Am I right, Greg?
Yes. That's how I read it my whole life.
Before we take our last ad break, I did just want to throw in Joe. Joe wanted to come on and discuss Snyder taking Bane on, but he's recording a different episode right now for somebody else or something else. But he said, with the rise of lovable villains in pop culture, Darth Bane would fit perfectly into that mold. The books chronicle Bane's rise to become the most powerful Sith and his drive to see the Sith as a whole to be as powerful as they once were. A movie or even a series of movies would be a wonderful opportunity for new Star Wars material. The book trilogy has already laid the groundwork for 3 great movie adaptations, but there's also plenty of years in between the novels that could tell new stories to both fans of the books and fans who haven't read the books. So that is what Joe said. Joe from
I
Ranger
completely
Lions.
agree, Joe.
I trust Joe. Joe's smart.
All right, so we're going to take our last ad break and come back for Into the Dark from me because Nathan has some stuff happen.
I slacked. Full disclosure, I didn't finish it. But you know me, I don't care about spoilers, so come on, bring it on.
All right. We will be right back, y'all. And 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Thanks for listening to the ads, y'all. We all appreciate it.
Yes.
So Into the Dark. I'm just gonna summarize my thoughts then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I loved the last half of the book. I thought the last half of the book was much better than the first half. But really once you get towards the second half, you realize how much the first half built into it, and that's what makes a great Star Wars book in my book. But I already said this kind of. I think Reith really speaks to me as a character as a whole. He's just that I'm gonna hide in this corner and train to death because that's all I can really do because I don't have that inert talent that some Jedi do, like Vernestra Rowe. So I really like his character. Makes me smile. But I thought so. Basically, we get the introduction of the Drin gear in the latter half of the book. And Nathan, you said something earlier about how, like in the last episode, about the statues and what they were for. The statues were actually forcing the Drin gear on the station to go to sleep, basically. So the Drin gear are basically plants that like to eat people and eat them
Took
alive.
over the whole ship. Yeah, took over the whole ship.
Yeah. So
why were the droids pruning them then? I know I can find out about it, but why were the droids taking care of them then? Those droids that were attacking people if they messed with them and stuff.
They were preventing, basically the droids were preventing people from, or like the normal people from taking plant samples off and potentially waking the drinker up. So, and then what's his name? The Padawan that you said dies.
No, the knight. He did Fresh Knight. He was
the knight. Des.
Yeah. Des. Yes.
So it turns out that he actually got transported to the planet of the Dringir and was tortured for information.
By plants?
Mm-hmm. These
Plants
are some evil plants.
Are they like plant people? Are they like Swamp Thing or Groot, or is it just like my flower, my day, like a daisy came alive and was like, hey, like a cartoons, and just eyes popped open on the petals and stuff? Like, was it like that, or? Here, I can read all this. I know I should have done my homework, people. I am so sorry. I know.
Well, here we go. We're gonna pull up the Dringir video.
Greg's like, right.
Check it out.
Okay.
I'm like you. I haven't done anything about this book, but I'm totally.
Well, I did read the first half.
Yeah,
I did read the first half, or listen to. I just haven't gotten back. I've actually been reading the physical novelization of Astonishing X-Men, which has been really good.
All right. It's not playing the sound, but I'm sorry, y'all.
Don't make any sound.
I'll leave the link for this in the video.
I hear the sound.
You hear the sound?
I don't.
Cool.
I don't, but it's okay.
Oh, wait. I hear a sound. It's not the sound. It was a car outside. I thought it was. I was like, I hear something revving up. It's not. Yeah.
So we're watching
scary
the
plant
video.
Guy.
Yep.
Plant lady. Plant thingy.
Plant being.
Plant being.
Oh, and so this planet, I'm gonna pause. I'm pausing the video. Sorry. This planet, actually, in the Kylo Ren comic, apparently, this is where Ben Solo meets Snoke for the first time. So you can see this planet, and it's got like plant life coming out of these rings.
Well, that's like the space station that they find that's described with rings around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's in rings.
So, like, I think these rings end up going down to the planet, and the planet's just hidden from view in the book. Because the pods that are supposedly what they get transported on are supposedly hyperspace pods. And they just prevent travel from going down.
Yeah, so, they're doing a lot of mental gymnastics with fucking hyperspace in this High Republic endeavor.
Yes,
there seems a lot of like teleporting, like it seems like some Star Trek stuff, like beam me up, like he got teleported. Which I'm saying, hey, this stuff could happen. I don't know. It just seems like they're doing a lot of they're hanging everything on hyperspace, which I guess is a new angle to go with something. Because as far as I know, that hasn't really been the focus of any such thing,
Well, in Legends, they don't touch hyperspace at all. They just say, okay, we're going into hyperspace right now. Like the idea of that's kind of explored in Solo of like, you have to be pointed in a specific direction to go off onto this specific planet. That's all new to Star Wars. That was never explored in Legends.
Is there significance to, you said this planet was the planet that Snoke first met Ben Solo. Is there significance to that, or is that just a name drop to put in
I think
there?
that's an Easter
I
egg.
think it's just a connection.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a connection. So that the Jedi with the white lightsaber, the Wayseeker, she's really cool. I love her.
You see the hands getting taken over. It's like Sword in the Stone, except a real person in plants.
And so what we find out in the last half is that the statues placed on the space station in this book to prevent the Drengir from waking up are actually were put there by the Sith. Yeah, I know. Words are hard. The statues were put there by the Sith and infused with the dark side energy, which is why they were seeing visions and everything.
Yes.
Was because of the dark side energy. But the Sith fought the Drengir and were close to losing until they locked this space station down and then put the statues in place to prevent future endeavors to get off. So
do you think, because I am of the opinion that, okay, if we're going to be real here, this High Republic launch hasn't failed. By no means am I saying has it failed, but it hasn't necessarily reached the goals of Lucasfilm either. It's not a failure, but it's not a wild, miraculous success. It's kind of right there in the middle. You know what I mean?
I
like
think New York
Diehards,
Times bestsellers list would disagree with you.
Yeah, but fucking Oprah has shit on there. Everything's a new. That's all. That's
I was
a
gonna
fucking
say every
you
book
can
that
buy
comes out
that,
by
Katie,
has a
promise
famous
you.
person
Well, okay.
attached to it.
I'm not getting
New
into it.
York
You
Times
can buy
bestseller.
that shit. Like you have to donate money to them to do that. They don't
Light
just
of the
pick
Jedi-
people like that.
Light of the Jedi had the #1, was on the bestsellers list
Yeah.
for 6 weeks
Okay.
and was in the #1 spot for 3 of those weeks.
Okay.
But wasn't that the first book though?
Yes,
That was the
launch.
first
That's
book.
the
Exactly.
first
That is
book.
the launch.
What you want to
And
look at
sales
is the
have
books
declined.
after that.
They've
A test
declined,
of-
and comics have declined since then.
Yeah.
Which we'll see that with The Rising Storm, which is Cavan Scott's book that comes out next. But A Test of Courage, hang on. A Test of Courage was on the list for 2 weeks, which is a middle grade book. And then Into the Dark has been on there for 2 weeks. So, and this book just came out, so there's still more time for this to go on there.
That's a good point. I just, do you think it would have been better to possibly launch with an animated series, like something visual, maybe not necessarily live action, but something you could put on Disney Plus or Disney XD for out there? Like if they would have said Star Wars High Republic, we got 12 episodes like of a serialized High Republic arc. We're going to introduce you to these characters. Guess what? You get to see Yoda and a little bit younger. We're going to go boom, boom, boom. And then we launch into the book. So that way you have people like me and you could look at it, and kids and stuff, and be like, holy shit, I want to know more about this Wookiee Jedi because I see him and I go and it's more, you know what I'm saying? It's more tangible, or it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Do you think it would have been better? Because I think it would have been more successful or a higher launch. And that's just my personal opinion. But I think if you started with a visual medium first and then launch into the comics and the books, I think it might have be up a little more.
See, I think that success may be the wrong word to use. Would it have been more popular amongst a wider group of people? Yes. I think the success is based on how good the story.
You're right.
I think whether it's a book or a show, if it's a good story, it's a good story, and people are going to talk about it being a good story. I think it would have reached more people had it been a show.
That's a good way to put it.
At the same time, I don't mind it being a book. I think that if you're a true Star Wars fan and you hear about this coming out, you're going to get the book if it comes out, or you're going to watch the show. Whatever form they put it in, you're going to absorb it. It's the
and true's the wrong word there. True's the wrong word there. It's like deep into Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Very political.
Sorry.
Nice
Yes. You're right.
Catch.
I don't want to call people like true fans.
You're right.
I know.
Exactly right. A deeper fan. Yeah. So I think that if you're a deeper Star Wars fan, you're going to read it regardless. I think if you put it in a TV show, you expand to a different group of people that may not have otherwise known it even exists.
Like a wider audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good idea per se, because I mean, we saw in The Mandalorian, we saw that material for Ahsoka just kind of shot up on out of like people were searching for Ahsoka stuff more. Like the Ahsoka book that EK wrote actually went back up on Amazon's recommended list. It was like popular among young adults because I mean people were purchasing it. So it's not to say that it wouldn't have reached a wider audience, but I think this was Lucasfilm's attempt to try and reach the heights of like the New Jedi Order series in Legends, where that's 21 books, doesn't
Good
even
point.
count the comics, and it was
Good
widely
point.
successful. So I think this was truly meant to be a strict publishing initiative to try and just say, okay, book lovers, you've been craving for content, like, because there's been
Have
books.
we?
No, okay, hang on.
Fuck.
There's been books.
Disney is humping. They are milking the shit out of Star Wars and books, fucking movies, fucking TV.
Okay.
They are milking the shit out of that tit.
That's not what I meant, but like Jedi specific books, like exploring a different age of Star Wars. And I mean, the books still leave the opportunity for them to go back and build a TV show out of this. I mean,
and they are.
It happens all the time. Book to show adaptations, book to movie adaptations, like it happens. So I think they want to build a complete story before they go into that, which is why maybe the Acolyte might not be coming out until 2024 or 2025, because it's supposed to take place at the very end of the High Republic. So to me, that might step in and say, you might get a Wreath Silas mentioned or something about this, and people might go, okay, who's this person, and do a bunch of Googles and say, hey, okay, I could read about him in these books, and get people that way.
I think you answered my question though, because like you said that the Ahsoka book went up after Mandalorian because it had a visual presence and people went, shit, I want to know more, which kind of lends to my thing. If they would have had an animated series or an animated movie come out first, people would have seen it and been like, well, I want to know more about these people. Right. Guess what? This High Republic initiative is coming out. I'm going to jump on board with into the the Light of the Jedi, and then I'm going to jump into this and that. You know what I mean? You're right. I can speculate all day long. I just think it might have been better to visualize something and then jump into the massive publishing initiative, or at least have it with it.
It's Star Wars and Disney, so it's going to be successful anyway. Is the thing, and two. Me personally, I like reading a book and imagining something in my head, like what I imagine it to look like, and then seeing it come into a television show or a movie later, and seeing what that director or this person meant for it to look like, and seeing the differences in what I imagine when I read it and what this person imagined when they read the script, or that the producer imagined whenever he read the story or makes the movie. That's fun for me, because sometimes what I pictured in my head is totally different than what I get on screen. You know, so.
Yes.
I think it'll work one way or another for them. And
sure.
So the Rising Storm is supposed to come out late June. So we'll kind of get the next step in the High Republic then.
Well, I by no means am saying it's a failure. I didn't, and if that's the way it sounds or the way it took it, that's not what I'm trying to insinuate or imply. I'm just saying I think it would have been more successful. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Better received and more successful. Not that it's been okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm done talking. I'm just talking in circles now.
No. And I get what you're saying. And I do realize for the New York Times bestsellers list, like there is money put into that, obviously at some point, but 6 weeks on the list, they're going to put that much money into
Katie, they pay Disney pays to doesn't pay the critics, but they booze them up and buy them hats and buy them materials and stuff every movie comes out, so that they drunk them up, because you're going to get a way better. Hey, I tell you what, if I'm going to review a movie and if I'm going to review Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Disney's in there going, free drinks, buddy, drink as much as you want, and they're giving me hats and stuff, when I come walking out, I'm like, that movie was fucking great, I loved it. So when I sober up, I might come out like, oh man, well, I already said what I said. What I'm getting at is Disney has no problem throwing money at things that will make them look better or will show them in a good light. And that is all companies do that, but Disney is willing to really put the pocketbook out. So that does not surprise me that it would be there for, because that is all a money game, which is Oprah, the richest woman in the motherfucking world, except for Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, who literally she got divorced and became the richest woman over the fucking night. Overnight. But anyway, Oprah, the reason why Oprah has every book she ever reads on the best-selling list, because Oprah can wipe her ass with $100 bills and it's nothing. Of course she's got money to throw at that.
And she doesn't tip when she goes out of restaurants.
But so you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, if I put a book out there and I could pay the money to get on New York Times bestseller, I'm gonna have that shit on a sign on my back saying that I got it. Right. But let's be real, how it really works out. It's not like they just find Joe Blow author on the internet and they go, this book's fucking great, let's put it on our list. No, you have to submit and give them a lot of money.
And that's the thing, is they do that, they pay for that, and then they have podcasts like us saying it was a New York Times bestseller for 6 weeks, and the average person who listens to it, all they hear is New York Times bestseller 6 weeks, must be great, go get it. Which is the objective of them doing that. So it works, but that's why they do that.
Yes. Right. But at the same point, like, and I know y'all aren't on Star Wars Twitter like I am, but I literally had fought like people I follow who couldn't find the books.
I thought you were saying about you fight with people. I said, who's fighting with my Katie on Star Wars?
No.
Fuck them up.
Send me their hand. I'll at them so hard. Yeah.
No. I got you, Katie. I got
you. But like people were seriously having trouble finding this, and Amazon delayed my shipment of A Test of Courage.
Ooh, that is a good sign. Like I said, this is just all. I don't know. They might have the numbers. Disney might be able to pull up the numbers. Go, look, asshole, you're wrong. I don't know. This is just my optics on the outside. Right. And like you said, you're on Star Wars Twitter 100% more than I am. So you know what I mean. This is just my optics from the outside.
And what I've seen from these books is that they've just, as they release, the rapport for them has just gotten better and better. Like Into the Dark was the most well-received book, I feel like.
Good.
And Nathan, I forgot one thing that you mentioned. The girl who's in the book.
The Nihil?
Yeah.
The Nihil girl?
With the ship in pieces. And I didn't want to tell you, but it's revealed that she's Nihil.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I was already to that part, and I didn't want to say it when we talked about it that time. I had already gotten to that part, but I didn't know which chapter it was, so I held back on that too. I didn't know that. Like I've gotten to that part of the book where I knew that, like, he figured it out and was like, shit, that's why the ship was pieced together, and that's why she had blue streaks in her hair, because she was fucking Nihil. So like I did get to that. I've got to chapter 26. I just haven't went any further.
Yep.
I'm a loser. I know, guys.
I'm trying to think of anything else.
Right there, buddy.
Let's talk.
So
Empire.
Reese does manage to cross that the Kyber arc. So he does manage to cross that
By focusing on the Force.
I was trying to find where he does it in the book, because I don't remember how exactly he does that. Yeah, so long story short, I really liked this book. I think Claudia really turned it around from Master and Apprentice.
I am glad that you're liking them, because you have, out of all three of them, you have liked all three and you have a higher. But I'm like, maybe this endeavor or these first few books aren't for me necessarily, but there is an audience for them. And I'm glad that somebody Katie, there's nobody that's going to say she is not a true Star Wars fan or a deep Star Wars fan. And then she's liking all this stuff. You know what I mean? So she grew up with that's got her. So like, at least it is appealing and it's going. So like, I like I said, just because it doesn't appeal to me, or so far where it hasn't hooked me, and I don't want to say doesn't appeal, but it hasn't like really hooked me to go, doesn't mean that there's not value in having them or putting them out there. Because look at Katie, like I said, if there's a Star Wars council, I would say Katie is definitely on the council. You know what I mean? So like, at least they're for somebody. At least there is that audience that's getting enjoyment, even if it's not necessarily for me.
Yeah. And I haven't. So I've been keeping up with the Marvel comic. I have not touched Daniel Jose Older's comic, mainly just because there's only so much reading I can do. Sure. So if I were to recommend like a reading order, if you wanted to go into into what's currently out, I would say Into the Dark would be kind of my first pick. And then I would say Light of the Jedi. I do still really love A Test of Courage. I think Vernestra Rose is a great character. And one that I'm excited to see in the next young adult book, which is called, and it has Reith in it too, Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland. So that's going to have Ernesto Rowe and Wreath in it. And Wreath, we said this earlier, or in the last episode, not earlier, but his master, Jorah Molly. She dies in the Light of the Jedi, spoiler alert. But he does, at the end of this book, he asks Master Cormac to take him on as Padawan. So.
Oh my God, they killed Kitty. You bastard. No, nobody?
No.
And whatever, it's just me. Somebody listening right now chuckling. They got it. So, you know.
And Affy, I liked Affy's character too. So.
Okay.
They're just all really cool, I think. So yeah.
Empire time? Because we need to get into Katie's hot takes.
Empire is in 2 weeks.
Oh, damn it. I thought we were going to hear your hot takes. I thought
not today.
See, she teased me the other day whenever she was podcasting me. She was like, we're talking about episode 5 on Sunday. And I was like, oh, really? So I watched episode 5 last night. I was like, okay, let's talk about it.
No, I told you, Greg. I was like, no, because Greg's slice of film is next week. And then we did Evolution for that one. And then the week after is Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, see, I pre-agreed today. I had the misunderstanding too. I watched Empire this morning before we recorded, which is what brought me to my Dooku Vader question or whatever. Like, I'm not crying because like it's Empire, but I know that is towards the bottom of your list. I really want to get into the minutia of why it is at the bottom of your list. I need to know because like Greg and I know it's at the top of our list and a lot of other Star Wars fans. I just have to hear Katie's reasoning on why, especially because she's a softie for like the love story and the Luke and the Leia and the Han stuff. And like, I just have to hear this.
It's not at the top of my list. It's in the top 5, I think. Though.
Sure.
It's not
okay.
at the very top of my list. Yeah, but it's one of the best. So,
damn it, Katie, you edged me. You blue balled me, whatever you want to call it. I thought we were getting into it today.
Yeah.
No, today was Into the Dark, part 2. That's okay.
Hey, that's all right. I had just a pleasant time chatting with you guys. And, you know, like I'm even talking about I'm not trying to end the episode or not, but I'm just saying, even talking about the bad stuff at the beginning, like I think it's been a very good episode. A nice little back and forth between everybody.
Yep.
Oh, damn, I still thought we were Empire. No.
Nope, not today.
Well, now I have to watch it again next week, which is just fine.
Oh, dang.
It'll make like 10,004 now times that I've watched it.
So that is what we're doing next time. If you've got any thoughts on Empire Strikes Back that you would like to share, definitely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like give us if you would write in to Katie, or you'll give your thoughts or something, you know, like, or if you got a hot take or something, like, I would love to hear those when we talk about it. That's a great idea, Katie. I would love to hear the listener hot takes.
Reach out and hey, if you want to come talk about it next Sunday morning or 2 weeks Sunday morning, like come do it. Greg, you're more than welcome back. I know you got really into it when I mentioned it on Evolution.
Oh yeah.
But Nathan, tell us when they can find you, not where, when.
You can. I can tell you where and when. You can find me on Friday evenings at 9:00 on the Super Civil Servants YouTube channel with Greg here, and most of the time Katie, and about everybody from this network. But just about everybody from this network gets together just to shoot the shit on the week's topics. And then you can find me every other Sunday morning at 10:00 Eastern here with Katie and whoever else likes to join us for a little Star Wars with your coffee and, you know, your breakfast or however you want to put it, you know?
No. Greg, where can they find you?
You can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. I've been taking a kind of a personal hiatus, so I haven't been answering a whole lot of things on Twitter lately, but just bear with me. I'll be back eventually. But check me out on my shows, Superhero Discussions I do with Travis on Fridays, Super Civil Servants I do with Nathan and everybody from the network on Fridays, DC Alliance, me and Travis do live Monday nights, Audio Drops Tuesdays, and the C3 Panthers podcast on Tuesday nights, live on YouTube. Check me out.
Yep. And speaking of DC Alliance, this podcast will be dropping Wednesdays into podcast feeds instead of our usual Thursdays, so that DC Alliance can get a Superman and Lois review in for us. So DC Alliance is dropping Thursday this week, Marvel's dropping Tuesday, and we're dropping Wednesday. So right in the midst of everything.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
But that's where you can find us this week. For me, you can find me on the Twitter at Slice of Katie. You can follow my other podcast, Slice of Film, at Slice of Film 1. Greg joined me for next week's episode. We're taking a slice out of Evolution next week. So that was a fun one to watch and kind of discuss. If you are interested in joining me for a movie of your choice, please let me know. I would love to get it going. So if you've got one that you want to cover and just want to talk about, just come find me. Drop me a line at either of those accounts, at Slice of Katie or at Slice of Film. What? Yeah.
Got it.
Please, everyone, send us in your thoughts and stuff about episode 5. I would really like to hear your thoughts on Empire.
Yeah. Yep. Good or bad? Because I like
good. Yeah, good or bad.
Good or bad.
Yes. So. Do it. And you can send those to my personal Twitter again, or at Star Wars Alliance without the A and the Wars. So shoot them there. And we will read them on the next episode because that's what we're doing. In terms of what's coming next for Star Wars Victory's Price, the 3rd Alphabet Squadron book comes out March 2nd. Nathan doesn't read those. I will probably read it, but very, very slowly. So I'll let you guys know what happens then. And then the next book that's coming out, we will, of course, be covering because it's Thrawn Ascendancy, Great or Good.
Shit, I'm reading that one. I'm diving into that.
So that will be April's topic is Great or Good.
Oh, Katie, you just excited the shit. I didn't realize we were that close to Ascendancy too. Oh yeah, that puts a smile on my face. I'm ready for that.
I gotta speed up my listing.
I'm ready.
Still in the first Ascendancy book. So
you gotta get it done, Greg.
I'll get there.
Gotta get it done.
I'll get there.
Yeah, you'll get there. Sure.
With that, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching. And we'll see y'all next time. May the Force be with you.
Always.
Keep at it.